Today is a very rainy day, so we're moving inside to decorate the front entry for Halloween.
I got this frame off of Facebook Marketplace, and it's going to become the centerpiece for our Halloween decor above the sideboard. But before I can put this on the wall or really do anything with it, it's going to need a fresh coat of paint.
While painting this frame, I have to work carefully to get into all the nooks and crannies. Where there are lots of crevices, I'm using almost a dabbing motion to really work the paint in. Once everything is covered, I work my way back around to make sure that I haven't left any drips or uneven spots. While we're waiting for the paint to dry out in the garage, let's go ahead and start removing the decor that's currently in the front entry. We're going to redo this whole area just in time for Halloween. Moving inside, it's important to start with a blank slate. As I put the existing decor away, I was surprised to find that the current piece of art is held up by two screws. I had expected only one in the middle. I'm going to have to try very hard not to replace any hardware so that I can revert back to the old setup once the season is over. In my original plan, I intended to only have the one piece on the wall centered on the sideboard. However, now I need to figure out what to hang from the screws that are already in place. And while I was removing the current decor from the entryway, a tiny kitten came to keep me company. She's so adorable. After a quick trip to the storage room, I found a letter H and a couple of small frames. Let's see if we can give these a Halloween vibe. First, the H. My kids already had their paint supplies all over the dining room table, so I sat down to paint this orange. I started on the edges, watching closely for drips, then move across the top in a systematic horizontal motion. This keeps the brush strokes almost in a line pattern for a smooth finish. Next, the small frames. Let's jump into Canva and see if we can find some images to put into these. I'll create a new project, select print products, and then choose flyer to get the right ratio for these little frames. Next, I'll search elements for Halloween and filter to photos only. I really like this ghost holding the black cat. I'll add that in and then create a second page for the next frame. Scrolling through the options, I find a glowing pumpkin and bats. That looks good, but the alignment isn't quite right. By double-clicking the image, I can slide it into focus. It looks great, but I can check one more option. A skeleton lady. Ooh, too scary. No need to give the kiddos nightmares. I switch back to the pumpkin and bats and decide that's the right choice. With that done, I'll go ahead and get these printed. Once the prints are ready, I grabbed Brandon. It's getting dark, and I want to get the back of our frame project cut to size before it's too late. You can see our creepy eye decorations all lit up in the background. These really look good around the front garden at night. Now that the back is cut, we attach it to the frame. The wood is thin, so I'll just use staples. I work my way across the first side, then flip the frame over to do the second end. With the garage lighting not ideal, let's move inside to finish up. I'm going to add some contact paper to make this frame Halloween ready. Using my wallpaper tools makes this easier. First, smooth the paper down and press it tightly around the edges. Then, using a tool and an extra sharp blade, I carefully trim around the edges. It's important to have a sharp blade so it doesn't tear the paper. Moving on to the second strip, I line up the pattern before securing it down, smooth it, press it into the corners, and then trim carefully. Let's move it to the entry to see how it looks in place. It's pretty good, but a little plain. What if we add a wreath? Yeah, I like this. I'll secure it with a hook, first marking the center point and then twisting the hook into place. Now it's time to attach the piece to the wall. This is the one spot where I'll add a new hole, keeping it low so my previous art will cover the new hole. I measure for the center point between the two existing screws. Once the frame is on the wall, I add the orange H. Using the existing screw, it's slightly off center, so I use a bit of painter's tape to hold it level. Finally, the small frames.
I take the backs out and cut the printed images. The second frame doesn't have a screw, so I use 3M adhesive to hold it in place. I've had mixed results with this, so I'm hoping it will come off damage-free when the season is over. Next up, we unboxed some new Halloween decor that we picked up this year. It's always exciting to see what made the cut. There are pumpkins, spooky little figurines, and even a few light-up ghosts to add some glow after dark. We laid everything out so we could get a feel for how we wanted it to look before actually placing it. Planning ahead makes a huge difference. It saves a lot of shuffling around later. Now, the little details. I add a gold frame with a ghost and a rustic vase. I fill the vase with artificial mini ball flowers and top it off with some artificial greenery. Finally, I add some primitive ghosts to complete the display. And just like that, the sideboard refresh for Halloween is complete. Don't forget to check the description for a product page. I've linked all the items shown here. Next up, we're moving to the front door for a little Halloween decorating. You're probably noticing something a little unusual. Black and white and no sound at all? Don't worry, we didn't hop into Pleasantville. That was just a little camera mishap after we were fiddling with the settings on our new camera. It gave us a good laugh and reminded us that even when things don't go perfectly, you can still make it work. Once we got that all sorted out, we started with some cleanup. The porch sees a lot of traffic, and over the past few months, the gutter downspout had left the concrete looking pretty grimy. Before we could start decorating, we knew we needed a clean slate, so we grabbed the pressure washer and went to work. We took our time spraying every corner and getting into nooks and crevices. It's amazing how much a little pressure washing can transform a space. What looked dull and tired suddenly started to pop again. The concrete lightened, the textures came through, and you could almost feel the difference underfoot. There's something oddly satisfying about that first blast of water hitting the grime and watching it wash away. It's like hitting a reset button for the porch. After a few passes, the surface was completely refreshed. Dirt gone, cobwebs gone, and the entire area felt like a blank canvas, just waiting for our Halloween decorations. It really reminded us that preparation is just as important as the decorating itself. Without this cleanup, the space wouldn't have looked nearly as good. Then came the actual decorating. That's my favorite part. Arranging pumpkins, stacking props, hanging ghosts, and getting creative with layers. One of the first things we tried was adding a decorative rug to define the space. But, of course, the edges of the rug had other plans, curled up like they were trying to escape. We tried double-sided tape to flatten it, but nope, no luck. The rug had a mind of its own. After a few tries and a little head scratching, we discovered we could curl the rug in the opposite direction. Just a small adjustment, but it completely solved the problem. The rug stayed flat and looked great. Lesson learned. Sometimes the simplest fixes are the ones you wouldn't expect. Layered rugs are actually a big trend right now. It adds texture, color, and a sense of depth to any space. It's a simple trick that adds a lot of visual interest without taking up extra space. With the rug finally in place, we layered the rest of the decorations. We played around with height, symmetry, and spacing. One tip we like to follow is to work in layers. Start with the bigger items for structure and then fill in gaps with the smaller pieces to create depth. It keeps the display from looking flat or cluttered. Finally, we stepped back to check the overall results. We captured it both during the daytime and at night. During the day, you can see all the detail, textures, colors, and how everything is arranged. At night, the lights and shadows transform the space, making it look completely different and adding a real wow factor. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed this Halloween decorating project, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Next week, we're heading back outside to finally finish up the garden bed railing, and it's looking so good. See you then!